News update?
Yeah, man.
Listen to Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Now listen. News on the hour. 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. News at noon, 12 noon. News from across the states, 4 p.m. And our major news at 6 p.m. Citizen FM 93.7. Always precise in news broadcast.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM, Abuja.
Good evening and welcome to Citizen FM News at 6. I am Didi Yeno. First, the headlines. Supreme Court adjourns Naira suit until March for judgment. Presidential candidates sign peace accord ahead of the 2023 elections, and over 50 people are missing in China coal mine collapse. The Supreme Court has adjourned a case instituted by the state governments against the federal government challenging the implementation of the Naira redesign. The Apex Court adjourned the case to March 3 for judgment. Earlier, the Apex Court consolidated the suit instituted by over 12 state governments. At the last hearing on February 15, 7 states joined the 3 initial states as co-plaintiff, while Edo and Bayelsa states joined as well. The court, however, refused to join Abia State in the suit on the ground that it came with its originating summons. All efforts by the Abia State government to be joined in the suit was turned down and was ordered to present its case at a later date. Presidential candidates of 18 political parties have signed a pact towards a peaceful election in the country come Saturday, February 25, 2023. Several of them converged on Abuja on Wednesday for the landmark event. Some of the presidential candidates present include Bola Tinubu of the APC, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Rabiu Kwankwaso of NNPP, and Peter Obi of Labour Party. President Muhammadu Buhari urged the candidates to strive for peaceful polling in the country.
Neutrality and allow the rule of law to take precedence over political expediency. We have demonstrated that it was off-cycle elections in Edo, Ondo, Anambra, Ikiti, and Osun states. We allowed Nigerians to decide who should govern them. We are committed to this legacy in this administration. I want to assure INEC, the security agencies, and all relevant institutions saddled with the responsibility of conducting the elections of this administration continuous support. I ask you to be firm and courageous and to abide by the laws and the constitutional provisions in conducting the elections.
Former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon called on political parties and the candidates to give the process the required legitimacy.
Let me begin by congratulating the National Peace Committee for positioning itself as a reliable, dependable, independent mediation institution that seeks to foster and ensure peace in Nigeria's elections. Since 2015 to this very moment, the committee has engaged the government at all levels, federal, state, and local government, political actors, and the public on the need to maintain peace before the elections.
Convener of the Peace Forum and Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, said there was really no alternative to a peaceful and credible election if Nigeria was to be taken seriously by the international community.
It's a source of encouragement. There is also a pointer to the higher responsibilities that have been entrusted to our dear country. We are very grateful that our president is physically here with us, even though he has really no reason to be. But I think his presence here is a mark of the seriousness of his own commitment and the commitment of our country to free, fair, and credible elections.
Unlike elections prior to 2015, when the National Peace Committee came into existence, presidential candidates for the 2023 polls are made to sign the peace accord twice. The first was signed in September last year, prior to the commencement of campaigns. That accord was signed to oblige the candidates to a peaceful campaign. This signing is the second at last to be signed by the candidates, and it is to enlist their commitment to a peaceful conduct of the 2023 presidential election. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has received cash from the Central Bank of Nigeria for elections logistics. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu, during a visit to CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, said they needed cash rather than bank transfers to sort out many of their activities. It noted that there had been apprehension over the inability of INEC to get cash from the CBN, even though its budget is a first-line charge, adding that this was a result of the cashless policy introduced by the CBN with the support of the federal government. In recognition of the role the energy industry will play in the development of the Nigerian economy, the federal government has assured Nigerians of plans to unveil a ground plan that will revolutionize the sector and the nation's economy. The Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Adeleke Mamora, disclosed this while speaking at the National Forum and Awards ceremony of the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program in Lagos. The minister, who was represented by the Director, Department of Environmental Sciences and Technology at the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Peter Ekweozo, said the energy sector is capable of positioning Nigeria on a global scale. He stated that the government is ever ready to work with the private sector to deploy green technology throughout the country. The federal government has expressed commitment to regional maritime development, which is premised on cooperation of African countries in the Gulf of Guinea to ensure optimization of regional maritime potential. The Director General of NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamo, who was represented by the agency's Director of Special Duties, Isiche Osambi, said it has become imperative for countries in the Gulf of Guinea to help one another to ensure proper harnessing of the regional maritime potential. He added that the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has provided technical support to Instituto Marítimo y Portuario in Sao Tome and Príncipe. National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has said it would deploy 200,000 corps members as part of its commitment towards the conduct of a hitch-free 2023 elections. NYSC Director General Brigadier General Yeshao Dogara Ahmed, who briefed journalists at the scheme's headquarters in Abuja, said the deployment was for the presidential and National Assembly elections scheduled for February 25th. Ahmed explained that the scheme was working alongside other security agencies to ensure the safety of all corps members during the polls. And Away from that, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has again partnered with the Canadian High Commission in Nigeria to intensify its digital campaign and to scale visibility of the agency and its partners through the deployment of e-learning hub as a depository for countering human trafficking knowledge. Director General, NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, made this known at a joint press conference between the agency and the Canadian High Commission in Abuja. She explained that the e-hub is part of the new project born out of the partnership designed to progressively tackle human trafficking, especially amongst young people in rural areas and urban poor communities, as these categories of people are mostly at risk. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has announced suspension of its ongoing 2023 direct entry registrations. The board, in a statement by its head, Public Affairs and Protocol, Fabian Benjamin, explained that the registration, which commenced on Monday, February 20, was suspended with effect from February 21st, 2023. The suspension, according to a statement issued by JAM, is to enable the deployment of certain measures which are designed to better serve prospective candidates. You're listening to Citizen FM 93.7 News at 6. And now to news on the foreign scene. The United Nations has said women's political representation in Nigeria has witnessed a downward trend, with only 3.8% of women in elective offices at both the national and state levels following the 2019 elections, and only 10.2% of women candidates for the 2023 elections. Speaking at the launch of the 2023 Women's Situation Room Nigeria Observatory on Wednesday in Abuja, the UN Women Representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Beatrice Ayong, noted that political violence, specifically violence against women in politics, has been identified as one of the major barriers that prevents women from fully and equally participating in formal politics and decision-making process in Nigeria.
Well, it just tells you that we're looking at the election from a gendered perspective. We're going to be looking at the impact of the election process for accountability, transparency, with a focus on women's inclusive participation.
And on her part, the National Coordinator of Women's Situation Room Nigeria, Professor Joy Onyeso, also urged Nigerians to shun violence before, during, and after the elections.
This is not translated at the national level. It's not seen in the national level. And that's why I appreciate all of us who are here, and even those who are still coming, and those who may not be here, but they are in different states, for all they are doing to make sure that the Nigerian women's excellence is also viewed at the national level. Women's political representation in Nigeria has witnessed a downward trend, with less than 5% of women in elective offices at both the national and...
The police force expressed readiness to provide needed security as part of ways to deliver free, fair and credible elections. And the FCT Police Commissioner, CP Sadiq Abubakar, who was represented by OC Gender Fumi Kolawole, noted that the Nigeria Police has everything it takes to see a great success.
That we've subjected all the officers in order to ensure that everyone enjoy what we are about to do. That is free and fair election. We don't want anybody to entertain any fear. The Nigeria Police is on top of the situation.
And the African Union Observation Mission has reassured Nigeria through a peaceful, credible, transparent election and transition to power that all will be well with the country. The head of the AU Observation Mission, Uhuru Kenyatta, made this known when he led the AU Observation Mission on a visit to Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, in Abuja. Kenyatta, who is a former president of Kenya, said the eyes of the world and Africa are keenly on Nigeria at the moment. And he noted that the AU Observation Mission and the world hopes to see the outcome of the elections that will bring all parties together to build a better Nigeria, while urging Nigerians to remain faithful to its democracy. And that's about the news tonight. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Supreme Court has adjourned Naira suit until March for judgment. Presidential candidates in Nigeria have signed peace accord ahead of the 2023 elections. That's Citizen FM News at 6 is edited by Aisha Shuaibu Badegi. To listen to us online, please visit citizenfm.ng.